Hello, everyone. Congratulations. We moved to another phase, still phase C, but the second part of we are to start talking about data architecture, or sometimes we call this the information architecture. There's two views in this ArchiSurance case study. One is what we will do within this video. It's called the information structure view. And another is the next video we will do is called is the data dissemination, the diagram. So today's one is only in this business layer, and next one is we combine the business layer and the application layer. So you can read from the this case study they mentioned this data architecture describe major relationship between conceptual business object and its logical data object. So that means is when we talk is talking about this yellow, the business, the entity is a business object is in the conceptual level. And when we want to talk is a logical data model is we use the data object in application level. So that is the logical level. Actually, I think this is a quite tricky part is, and you can find this if you go to the ArchiMate user forum, you find this kind of several posts or the articles argue about this how deep level of ArchiMate as a language standard to be used to model the information architecture. I think the answer is no, the crystal clear or the correct. So some people is found to model the information on into the business layer, and some is able to model that in the application layer. And the last video we also see we can use artifacts in technology layer to also represent some physical data. So that is kind of the way is you can balance. So my recommendation is information, the architecture. Normally is there's numbers of the existing tool on the market that can do the information modeling. Whether or not is you incorporate those tools or you want is everything model in ArchiMate, it depends on your choice and on the how you are working with the different architect group and the different stakeholder. So in my another the simple the meta model, I use such kind of the conceptual the model to try to model the customer data. So you can see here is no matter is on the ArchiMate layer, but let's see the vocabulary. So we have the customer data represent from the information conceptual part is if we map to ArchiMate, this can be the business object in business layer. And then we have the data subject with the business vocabulary to support the customer data as the information conceptual element. This can be the application layer, and we have the system vocabulary is kind of the actual data field in application. This can be the physical layer. So we use the code as the data object. Mapping to ArchiMate, this can be the business object, this can be the data object, this can be the artifacts. In some other tool, this can call this a data object. So that is depends on the different tool. In Archi, we follow the ArchiMate standard. So we use this 3 layer. But for today, we only use the business object. And also through this the physical layer or the application layer, next view we can connect to the application. Then application you have multiple the mapping. So before we move to this one, so it's just the multiple the same levels the element in this pattern model. Actually, is I put our the reference view for your information. It's not 100% correct, I believe, but that's based on my gut feeling or my experience. So if we put the TOGAF in this different layer, I made this motivation in the top because that's can drive the strategy. Maybe it's even before the strategy is you have the demand, you have understand the kind of the requirements. Then you have a different architect role in your the company, I believe. So different architect starting from EA, solution architect. Solution architect can cross the different layer, but you have many specific architect role focus on some specific layers. So the complexity is, as I mentioned in the information architecture part, is possible information architect. They already have their tool to do the entity relationship modeling, to do the data modeling, so to do the master data management modeling. So whether or not they will adopt ArchiMate as a new language, or it depends on our alignment. But it's not the mandate for every architect use the ArchiMate language. So this is the way is I would like that is we can first recognize this diversity within the architecture the group. Then every the architect may have their focus. And then is we see when we're starting to do the information architecture, it's possible is we do in this ArchiMate, but it's possible we do in the other tools. So that's the depends on your use case again. So let's quickly make this figure 27. So move to this data field. So let's see, figure 27, information structure. So we have go to the business. We don't have the business object. So let's create our business object. And then we're starting to add the things is here. So customer record. Let's do this quick. So insurance file. While we're creating that, you can observe there's a relationship. There's three type of the relationship. So we visit three different meanings. So insurance. Then we have this insurance policy. Claim. Even this, we also have the association. So let's see. So we have complex enough. So we can start to duplicate this one because it's tokens different policies. Homeowners policy. Maybe we do this better. So create this, and then this auto insurance policy. Last one is the legal expense. That's from the different company, legacy company, I should say. Then we drag all of them here into our view. So the top one is customer record. So that is our the business object. This customer record is aggregated by the insurance file. So we use aggregation because this means is if we don't have an insurance file, we still have the, or if we don't have a customer record, the insurance file is still there. But the composition is more stronger. So that is just a different way. So we have the policy, insurance request, the insurance policy. When you drag that, you can make this aligned at the same time. And then we have the three aggregation. So means is within the inference file, we have these three the part altogether, and they are the associate each other. So well, we don't see the arrow, but you see here the directed. So if you don't care about the direction, you can drag from either the element. But if you care about the direction from this weak relation, even it's quite weak, but you can show some directions. Then bear in mind is which is the source, which is the target. So, but for this this view is not too much needed to be care. And then we have those. We have this. Actually, I checked with the Archi's forum. Is in the alignment part, they don't have like it's Word or Excel is to have this distributed in horizontal, distributed in the vertical. So those are not by default provided by Archi tool. But if you really need that, is actually you can make some script to do that. So they can calculate the space using this JavaScript coding, but I didn't do that for now. So, and then from the insurance policy, there's we use this specialization. So this one, specialization means is you have different type of the. You can consider that is the instance as for this policy. So then we have four type of the policy. Oh, sorry, that is the direction is wrong. So we can put here, then we can drag to here, and then we can you can delete that, and then when you drag this again, they ask you is because we already have that in model. So they ask you is are you willing to use the existing one? You can select. If you don't want to use this one, you want to create a new, you can click this. I just create this so that I don't need to bother by this shaping of the lines. So before we do this in the better way like this one, so I think this is already good enough for this view for breaking down this business object, and then is making the instance called is use this specialization, the relation. So let's stop here, and the next video is we will do the data, the data object breaking down and link to the application layer. Thank you. See you then.